move very quickly to talk markets this Monday afternoon. And Mr. Rotimi Fakayejo joins me via phone to continue this conversation. Mr. Rotimi Fakayejo, good afternoon and thank you so much for your time. Stockbroker, financial analyst.
Good afternoon.
I think it's starting bright. It looks very good. What's your overview of this performance?
Well, it's a deep reflection of what is happening with companies that have turned in their auditor reports. And the good news came very much from Fidelity Bank, that is doing what most other banks are not doing, paying an interim dividend of 2 naira. I think he surpassed every other bank, I think, apart from Stanbic Bank, in having paid such a large amount in dividend, in interim dividend. And I think this is giving credence to the fact that the figures the banks are churning out are true figures and a reflection of what is actually happening in that particular space. So whenever such good news, it drives the enthusiasm of investors to actually put in as much as they are, knowing fully well that things are really going to get better. We didn't see as much in value traded today, but we see so much also in volume traded. Over 1 billion shares of Tantalizer was traded, which accounted for almost more than 60% of the total volume traded. But I think the week has started well, and I believe it's only going to get better.
But you know that traders have been on this with caution in recent times. It's been like they've been here and there. So are you thinking that this mood will change?
Yes, definitely it's changing, because one thing that can't be taken away from the market is the fact that the performances of the various quoted companies that have proved to be good are real. And if they are real, then investors will rather position themselves for what is to come. And we saw a lot of capital being being mobbed out of the market by reason of the capital raise of various banks. But nonetheless, we are still seeing what we are seeing right now. So I believe strongly that things are only going to get better. We're going to see much better results, figures coming from the various quoted companies, and also higher dividend payments and translating to increase in share prices, market capitalization, and the all-share index. So we're going to see it all good for the market, even as we approach the end of the year.
I think it is a good way to live it. I must thank you so much for your time, and do enjoy the rest of your day and have a productive week.
Thank you for having me.
All right, then. Asian stocks rallied and the dollar reached a fresh 7-week peak at the yuan today after blowout U.S. labor market data dispelled fears of a recession. Japan's Nikkei led a regional equities gains with 2.28% rally, giving additional momentum by softer yuan. Hong Kong Hang Seng rose 1.45%. Australian stock benchmarks added 0.68%, and South Korea's Kospi gained 1.53%. Mainland Chinese stocks remain closed until Tuesday for the Golden Week holiday. MSCI's broadest index of Asian Pacific shares outside of Japan climbed more than 1%. U.S. Dow futures is slightly after the cash index closed at an all-time peak on Friday following the payrolls data. Germany's industrial orders fell significantly and more than expected in August, adding the signs that the manufacturing in Europe's largest economy would not recover in the coming months. According to federal statistics, the sector declined by 5.8% on the previous month on seasonal and calendar-adjusted basis. The Statistics Office says one reason for the negative results is the large orders for transport equipment such as aircraft, ships, trains, and military vehicles have placed the previous month's higher. It said all items figures for July showed a 3.9% increase on the month for the previous figure of 2.9% due to considerable volumes of orders reported late by establishments. PMI data for manufacturing shows last week that Germany's manufacturing sector contracted at its fastest pace in a year in September, driven by sharp declines in output, new orders, and employment. Shell's refining profit margins declined in the third quarter for the previous 3 months as global demand sagged. Now, the company in its trading update ahead of its quarterly results on October 31st said its indicative refining margins dropped by nearly 30% to $5.5 a barrel in the 3 months to the end of September from $7.7 a barrel in the previous period. Trade results for its chemical oil products division were expected to be lower than the second quarter. Global refining margins have come under pressure in recent months due to slowing economic activities, especially in China. And as a new refinery comes online, Shell, the world's largest trader of liquefied natural gas, also lifted its LNG natural gas production guidance for the quarter to a range of 7.3 million to 7.7 million metric tons for the quarter, from the previous forecast of 6.8 million to 7.4 million tons. And to other news now, the Asian Development Bank has approved a financing package of $125 million to provide long-term sustainable solutions to increase year-round access to irrigation in rural communities in Nepal's Madhya province. The financing package comprised of a $110 million concessional loan and a $15 million grant. The bank said the mechanical irrigation innovation project will build a network of deep tube wells equipped with pump hoses, prepaid smart card systems, and a dedicated electricity distribution network. The project will construct approximately 900 kilometers of underground pressure pipes distribution, a network to bring irrigation water from pump houses to farms, and is expected to help farmers improve their capacity to shift to climate-resilient agricultural practices. And crude oil prices fell today after posting their steepest weekly rise in more than a year last week, as oversupply concerns made softer demand, countered the worries over the wider Middle East conflict, disrupting exports in the key oil-producing regions. Now, U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude is selling at $76.13 with an upward review of 2.35%. Brent also experienced an uptick of 2.04%, selling at $79.64 per barrel. Bonny Light sells for $78.62 with a decline of 2.84%. And for the OPEC basket, crude oil dealers are offering $74.90 with an upward price margin of 0.38%. Now, before I go, let me run out the figures to you from the Exchange Limited today. We have the likes of Fidelity Bank Gainers Chart, Livestock, ABC Transport, Regalinks, and Elalix. For losers, we have Square Motors, we have Berger Paints, we have Triple G,